This is TWiT.
Curtis, I've been wondering this myself. Why are consumers and SMBs likely to fall to coronavirus scams?
Well, this is a critical question because it's no secret that right now the fraudsters, the criminals, the general mischief makers are shifting their strategies to exploit fears related to COVID-19. Since the WHO declared its pandemic on March 11th, IBM X-Force has seen an increase of more than 6,000% in COVID-19 related spam. Phishing lures are aiming to manipulate people by impersonating the Small Business Administration, WHO, and U.S. banks offering relief funds. By the way, as we tape this, Congress passed a bill last night authorizing new funds, so we can expect a new wave of phishing emails focused on the new funds. Now, to learn how effective these scams are, IBM Security and Morning Consult polled over 2,000 small business owners and members of the general population in early April. That study, the study that resulted from that, revealed many people lack an understanding of the way government officials communicate with the public and a misunderstanding of the resources that are available to small businesses and individuals. Now, despite years of warnings from the IRS, law enforcement, and the security community stating that the IRS will never email individuals about tax filings, 35% of the respondents said that is precisely how they would expect to receive IRS communications. Approximately a third expect the World Health Organization to send them an email. Overall, just shy of 1/2 expect official information related to COVID-19 to arrive via email. More than half of small business owners also expect official virus-related information to arrive via email. Now, what's the big takeaway? It's that both individuals and small businesses are insufficiently skeptical about information that arrives via email. They are willing to engage with the email, and because they misunderstand how they might receive communication, they are all too willing to go deeper and deeper into the plots that the criminals have launched. Now, the threats are very similar for small businesses and consumers. Huge enterprise threats, they're something different. But small businesses and consumers are targets of general phishing emails. Before COVID-19, the spam and the phishing emails were all over the map in terms of their subject matter. It could be anything from the Nigerian prince looking to have you help him shelter money to information about taxes or fines or your Social Security account being suspended until you verify all of your information. Now, COVID-19, which is so much in the news, is also very much in the email boxes of potential victims. Now, these emails often include very realistic logos and spoofed websites. One popular one mimics an American Express email, offers $2,400 in stimulus relief, but requires authentication to claim it. Another one comes from supposedly Wells Fargo and offers them a payment from another customer if they verify their account. It's one thing that's common in both of these. If any email address arrives promising money but saying that you or your company need to verify your information or authenticate who you are, either by replying to the email or going to a website that they give you the button for, the odds approach 100% that it's a scam. Just send it to the trash bin. One of the things that we're finding, once upon a time, we used to say, well, let your cursor hover over a link, and the actual link in most email systems will pop up and show you, and you can frequently find something that's different than what you expect. That's a huge red flag. But as more and more people rely on their smartphones for email, the chance that they will fall for one of these scams goes up for two reasons. One, studies show that people just tend to believe things that hit their phones more than they believe things that hit their computers. And the second is that many of these techniques that we've talked about, like the hovering, just don't work. Pardon me. Now, consumers and small businesses aren't the only ones who are at risk. Government employees, national and international health organizations, and all of their employees have been victims. Google is saying that it is seeing a rise in the number of phishing and spam emails as well. It's a huge problem, and it's only going to get larger as we get deeper and deeper into this pandemic and our response to it. So I'm going to ask each of my co-hosts, and I'll start, Bam, with you. One of the things that is seen as a critical need is for a culture of skepticism or a culture of security. How do you do that, especially when we're talking about a small business where typically the level of trust is very high among both the employees and the suppliers and customers they work with?
Well, I think you can't always count on fixing humans, right? Particularly, small business, the good news is that I don't have to address a lot of people. The bad news is, as you said, there's a lot of trust there. What I think I've seen be successful is in a small organization, you can leverage tools like Google's G Suite for your collaboration suite, which has a lot of security features built in and does a lot of that heavy lifting for you without you necessarily having to be an expert in security or have a cybersecurity person on staff. So I think one of the answers is leverage software as a service. Don't try this at home. Essentially, right? Don't just because you're used to having like your own email and your own this and your own that, you want to definitely look for package services where the security is managed for you, where it's built in, it's part of the default posture. I don't think it's a good idea to rely on security awareness training or things of that nature. Most people are not going to change their behaviors unless they have a direct, personally affecting experience, right? So the least tech savvy person is suddenly going to become security hyper aware the first time they accidentally download malware on their work machine or do something that causes a potential compromise. So I think you can do all the security awareness training you want, but it still comes back to, for me, looking for systems and services that are more secure by default, that don't rely on the user and don't essentially blame the victim or hold them responsible for their own security to whatever degree possible.
Well, Lou, I'm going to ask you next. We're sitting here. Bam just talked about things that automate the response for you and protect you when you can't protect yourself. As you listen to this, as someone who is managing the development of software at different levels, how realistic is it to expect, say, a mail client or a mail system to protect employees from themselves when it comes to clicking on this? Is it the sort of thing that a big public email system can do, or do we still need to train our employees not to go randomly clicking on links that come in?
I can definitely say that email systems should be capable of doing these types of things. In fact, there are many, like for instance, Exchange Server does have this capability. And will it save us from ourselves? It can do a pretty good job. There's lots of spam filtering and malicious malware filtering, and it can also detect unusual activity. Are there sometimes false positives? Yes, but I can definitely tell you that these systems actually do a really good job. In fact, my inbox, whether it's on Gmail or Outlook or even at Microsoft, stays fairly clean. Like they are able to filter through and sift through most of those things. And even when I went and go look at what they filtered out or sorted out, you can definitely tell that a lot of these things are, kind of up in the air and don't make sense to be there. So using kind of machine learning and, evidence of different campaigns that are going through the wild are definitely good ways for systems like these to really help out your organization and the people in your organization to help filter this stuff out. So I definitely think that these types of systems should be able to help you, especially the email sense.